In the headlines, Plateau State government reimposes 24-hour curfew in Jos North. Minority caucus calls for investigation on NDA attack. Imo governor visits villa, calls for respect of rule of law. And on the foreign scene, Uganda welcomes first group of Afghan refugees. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Dashan Husseina Usman. For more news, connect with us on our social media platforms. And now the news in detail. Plateau State government has reimposed the 24-hour curfew earlier relaxed in Jos North local government area of the state. This followed the attack on Yeluwanzangam community in Jos North, which led to loss of lives, burning down of houses and properties on Tuesday night till the wee hours of Wednesday. The incident has generated tension in Jos Bukuru metropolis and people have been running helter-skelter. In a statement to this effect by the Director of Press and Public Affairs to the Governor, Makut Macham, the government said the 24-hour curfew came to effect on Wednesday until further notice. Daily Trust correspondent Dixon Adama gives an update on the situation in Jos.
Right now, I'm on the street of Jos, the Plateau State capital, and where I am now is between Old Airport Junction to Zamfara Junction via Nyango Junction. And although this place is in the south, which the curfew is still at dusk to dawn, but that is which is 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Then, however, in just not right now, the curfew, which was earlier 24 hours and was reviewed entirely with that of the south, has now been reenacted again to 24 hours following the killings yesterday at Yeluwanzangam community of Jos North, this behind Naraguta hostel of University of Jos. This has caused so much tension, although about 30 people plus were killed there, and it has generated so much tension in town. And the tension is for the fact that the cops were brought to the town, and those people who brought the cops to the town, they used the women, the children from that axis, brought the cops to the town, and they took the cops first to Plateau Hospital and then to the House of Assembly, and then they took it to Government House. And whenever the cops have been brought from communities like that to town and there is going to be burial or protest or something, whoever stand in the way of the protesters or the mourners are usually attacked. It doesn't matter who you are. And I think that was the recent episode we saw when some innocent travelers were coming from Ondo State, from Bauchi State to Ondo State, and they passed through Rukuba Road and they were attacked and many were killed, and that has led to renewed attacks, renewed crisis and renewed tension in Jos.
Minority caucus in the House of Representatives wants immediate investigation into the attack on the Nigerian Defence Academy, Afaka, Kaduna, that led to the killing of officers and abduction of another. This is coming after the Nigerian Defence Academy has dismissed news circulating that personnel working in the CCTV room were asleep when bandits attacked the residential area of the permanent site. Our correspondent Fatima Saleh Ladan has an update.
The speed at which security challenges is growing in Kaduna State is really alarming. With the recent attack by armed bandits to the Nigerian Defence Academy that resulted to the killing of 2 personnel and also the abduction of another one. There are reports this morning that the body of the abducted officer have been found. But as at the time of filing this report, there are no official confirmation as regard to that. But earlier today, the Chief of Defence Staff and his entourage visited the NDA over the armed bandits attack. According to reports, the visit was aimed at getting first-hand information on the incident for further appropriate action. Also in a release signed by its Director of Defense Information, Major General Benjamin Olufemi Sawyer, the Defense Headquarters debunked the report that says the officers on duty at the CCTV monitoring room were fast asleep when armed bandits attacked the NDA residential area. It says the information was untrue. And also at the state government end, the Commissioner, Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, says the state government has ordered the closure of some weekly markets around the area. He says the measure was taken for security purpose. Well, this is not the first time military formation is being attacked in Kaduna State, but this is the worst so far, with 2 officers gone down. The big question is, where does the problem lies?
Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State has called on Nigerians, particularly those in leadership positions, to protect the sanctity of the nation by upholding the rule of law. The governor made the call on Wednesday when he briefed State House correspondents after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in the presidential villa, Abuja.
The business of government, is the protection of lives and property. And we must act as a government and live up to the responsibilities of our government. So we try to maintain law and order and condemn illegal and criminal activities and make those who are apprehended to face the law. So many people are taking laws into their hands. And some aggrieved people have resorted to self-help. All this illegality upon illegality is still illegality.
Governor Bello Matawalle of Zamfara has urged the federal government to declare a state of emergency on security. The governor gave the advice when he received the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara, Ali Janga, on a courtesy call on Wednesday in Gusau. Matawalle said declaring a state of emergency was the only available avenue of ending the increase in security challenges at hand. In a statement issued by Malam Zailani Bappa, Special Advisor, Public Enlightenment, Media and Communications, the governor expressed concern over the incessant attacks on innocent communities in Zamfara and other states. He told the visiting AIG that the current wave of insecurity was alarming and getting out of hand. As such, the need to declare a state of emergency on security in the country. Janga, who was accompanied by the State Commissioner of Police, Ayuba Elkanah, commended Matawalle for his commitment to finding lasting solutions on the security problem in the state. Communities in the northwestern and north-central regions of Nigeria have been facing challenges of banditry and kidnapping in recent times. While some governors in the region have asked residents to defend themselves by taking up arms against the bandits, Nigerian government has rejected such calls. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu speaks to a cross-section of people on the legality or otherwise of bearing arms.
The state of insecurity in the country is gradually becoming more devastating as some states have been in the spotlight for many years. Most stories coming in from these states are about killings, kidnappings, and destruction, mostly by bandits, terrorists, and other criminals. In a form of self-defense, some residents have decided to take up arms to defend themselves from these incessant attacks, while Nigerians express their thoughts on arms bearing for self-defense.
The earlier the better. It's either you people defend yourself, arm yourself, or you move out of the area.
The army's defending is the armed forces as well. And if an army cannot defend, you can defend yourself. It is allowed, self-defense is allowed anywhere in the world.
Security apparatus should be encouraged to more again so that they can beef up the security situation in the country.
We don't get security for country because as they kidnap soldier, kidnap police, kidnap big man. What will remain with poor people? With the pass for road, now they go they kill us all one by one. Me, I agree. Make all our children, everybody protect himself for this Nigeria.
If the constitution doesn't support a citizen having access to firearms, and then I think it's until the constitution is now supporting it, it's legally not right.
Citizens are stockpiling arms to defend themselves. Then what is the essence of government?
Meanwhile, Monde Onyekachi Ubani, a legal practitioner, shares perspectives on the legality and implications of arms bearing.
The position of the law is that it's the government that's supposed to protect. It is the security agencies that have the right to be in possession of ammunition. If you must get gun in this country as a private citizen, and that license, will be given to you by the government. Now, if you don't have license to have the ammunition, of course, that is clearly criminal.
Yahuza Getso, a security expert, says unregulated arms bearing by citizens would lead to a state of anarchy.
The environmental danger is the fact that the environment will be vulnerable to prone crises, and easily people bring out guns. And the social crisis, social implication is the fact that people can use guns in the market and other social places, which is very, very dangerous. And then it has a political implication by which the 2023 election is coming closer. So opponent can use it against the other.
With insecurity situation in Nigeria, the question is, will Nigerians keep their faith in the prowess of the armed forces or carry up arms in self-defense? Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Nigerian Army says troops of Operation Hatinkai on Wednesday foiled an attempted attack on Babangida town in Yobe by insurgents. The director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, said this on Wednesday in Abuja. Nwachukwu said the insurgents, who were prowling for logistics replenishment, made futile efforts to infiltrate the town but were met with a fierce counterattack from the vigilante groups, forcing them to retreat in disarray. According to him, the gallant troops captured one gun truck, one Dushka anti-aircraft gun, 2 AK-47 rifles, and unprimed improvised explosive devices from the fleeing insurgents. Yobe State Governor Maimala Buni on Wednesday commiserated with victims of flood disaster in parts of the state. Buni expressed his sympathy when he visited the emirs of Damaturu, Fika, and Potiskum over the recent floods recorded in some communities across the three emirates. Mamman Muhammad, the Director General Press and Media Affairs to the governor, said this in a statement on Wednesday in Damaturu. Buni prayed for the repose of the souls lost in the floods and quick recovery of those who sustained injuries. The governor, however, charged the traditional rulers to enlighten their communities on the need to keep the waterways free from blockage. Flood has cut off Potiskum, Jakusko Road in Yobe State. Potiskum is the second major town in Yobe after Damaturu, the state capital. Passengers resorted to patronizing canoes to cross over the other side of the road leading to Jakusko. Yobe State has its fair share of flood this year that killed at least 2 persons. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up after the break, Pharmaceutical Research and Development Institute develops COVID-19 products. Do stay with us.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the Trust TV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search Trust TV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust TV. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that Zamfara State Governor calls for declaration of state of emergency to address security challenges. Plus, Nigerian military says troops of Operation Hatankai on Wednesday foiled an attempted attack on Babangida town in Yobe State by insurgents. To more news, Nigeria's Center for Disease Control says that Nigeria's COVID-19 infections on Wednesday has risen to 188,880. A total of 637 additional infections and 7 deaths were recorded on August 25, the NCDC announced via its verified website on Thursday. The Public Health Agency noted that the 7 COVID-19 related deaths recorded on Wednesday increased the country's fatality figure to 2,288. The agency said that there was a surge of the Delta variant in 5 states, cautioning Nigerians that the Delta is much more contagious than previous versions of COVID-19. It advised unvaccinated people to get vaccinated, adding that everyone in areas of substantial or high transmission should wear a mask, even if vaccinated. Kebbi State Government has received 60,704 doses of Moderna COVID-19 vaccines from the federal government, a state government official has said. The Commissioner for Health, Jafar Mohammed, made this known during the official administration of the new doses of Burning Kebbi on Wednesday. He explained that those who had taken first jabs of AstraZeneca vaccines will need to wait for the arrival of its second doses for their second jobs. He added that they should not take the Moderna vaccine with AstraZeneca. Mohammed urged those who had taken the first jabs of the AstraZeneca doses to wait for the arrival of the new doses of the vaccines, saying that they should not take Moderna vaccines. Director General, National Institute of Pharmaceutical Research and Development, Dr. Obi Adigwe, says the institute has developed and listed COVID-19 products to enhance fight against the pandemic. In an interview with Trust TV's Nafisa Abdul Al, Dr. Adigwe said such products are awaiting industry take-up.
That Nigeria depends largely on imported drugs for healthcare administration in the country is no longer news, as drugs and vaccines for some major or minor ailments are imported from overseas. With the whole world still grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic, it has become imperative to look within to find a solution. Nigeria's National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development is making giant strides in local production of drugs with high prospects of creating a COVID-19 vaccine. As part of efforts to curb the spread of the coronavirus, the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development is playing its part towards achieving locally produced vaccines. Director General, Chief Executive Officer of the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, Dr. Obi Adigwe, highlights the progress made so far.
We already have 2 products which have passed the preclinical stages. It has been listed by NAFDAC, and we're now going to clinical trials, Nepremium and Nepremium Plus. And we have strong confidence in those products because we're the first in the world to predict that the plants for which we, analyzed before we now formulated it into a capsule for Nepremium, we're the first in the world to theorize that that particular plant will have activity against COVID-19. And we have colleagues in other parts of the world who, after our theorization, have gone ahead to formulate those plants into teas, and they're already using it for management of COVID-19. We have thousands of plants and thousands of potential raw materials to produce medicines. Why do we keep importing these medicines? So NIPRID was founded and established by government to enable Nigerian scientists use their capacity to harness these raw materials and ensure the production of high quality, affordable medicines for the entire citizenry, both within Nigeria and internationally.
The institute aims to develop quality standards for phytomedicines, drugs, and diagnosis for the purpose of improving healthcare in Nigeria. Nafisa Abdul Al, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The industrial dispute between Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors and government continue to deny many Nigerians access to healthcare. However, medical doctors are looking elsewhere for better welfare. A Daily Trust investigation reveals that there is a mass exodus of medical personnel out of the country in search of greener pastures, as many of them are trooping to Abuja for an interview with the Saudi Ministry of Health. Nigeria is faced with one of the most acute jobless crises in recent times. Despite the federal and state governments introducing various measures to address youth unemployment, like the 774,000 Jobs for Youth scheme, social investment programs, skills development programs, direct labor for public works projects, loans for agriculture, and various initiatives to spur entrepreneurship, the country is teetering on the precipice of mass exodus of youths.
Unemployment is something that is becoming more rapid than it used to be. And of course, it's not something that the government can solve once and for all.
There is no employment with the federal government, and the government is not doing well. If the government is doing well, private sector would have been looking for youth, begging them to come and work with them.
Depends, like most of them, maybe they might have someone outside that can help them. But for me, if the opportunity is given to me, I'll just stay back, maybe think about business. There are a lot of businesses out there, so someone can invest in it. You can start up from somewhere.
And traveling abroad is something that is close to us. So many people travel on a daily basis. What I have to say about that is, why do I need to travel abroad? What am I going there to do? What is the cost of traveling abroad? If the cost of traveling abroad is something that can get me a good life in Nigeria, I will not want to travel abroad.
The doctors refused to grant us an interview for fear of their employers finding out or the government sabotaging their efforts. But despite the numerous attempts by government, the World Bank estimates that 65 million young Nigerians, or 1 in 3, are expected to be unemployed in the next 4 years. We're live at one of the recruitment centers where doctors have come out en masse for an opportunity to travel abroad. Even though the crowd is not as much as that of yesterday, but the process is still ongoing. With the NIRD and the federal government still at loggerheads, the question still remains, why are our doctors traveling abroad? This recruitment exercise is just one of a series of many. Darshan Hussaina Usman, Trust TV News, Abuja. PDP governors are meeting on Thursday in Abuja to resolve the leadership crisis in the party. Deputy National Chairman South, Eldayemi Akinwumi, and Deputy National Chairman North, Senator Suleiman Nazif, are laying claim to the position of National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party. This followed an order of Rivers State High Court directing Uche Secondus, chairman of the party, to stop parading himself as such, pending determination of the suit before it. Umar Sani is a chieftain of the party, and he sheds light on the leadership crisis happening right now.
Certainly, there is no any basis for this problem other than 2023. Otherwise, you will discover that the problem is more or less a family affair. It is a family affair because the person who brought the national chairman is the one who wants the national chairman out. So definitely, the arguments will weigh towards that he wants, to consolidate his gains than the 2023 elections. So I don't think any other reason will have been responsible other than 2023 playing out. And more or less, there are so many other actors too who are very much interested. So I think as time goes on, the thing will be much more clear. Definitely, this is an in-house crisis because definitely there is nothing from the ruling party suggesting that they are trying to destabilize our party. It is something that is within, and all efforts are being made to address them because they are more or less, like I usually say, ambition and interest clashing. So once ambition and interest clash, there are casualties, and those casualties will either be on both sides, either on the side of the party itself or on the side of the governing aspect of the party. So, but I'm very confident, with all things being equal and the efforts that have been put by our various organs of the party, the caucus, the BOT, the stakeholders, and so forth and so on, that the matter will be resolved as soon as possible.
Away from Nigeria, a flight carrying Afghan evacuees fleeing the Taliban takeover of their country touched down early Wednesday in Uganda, where they will be given temporary refuge, government officials said. The Foreign Ministry said a charter flight carrying 51 Afghans, including men, women and children, landed in the lakeside city of Entebbe. More evacuees from Afghanistan are expected to arrive later in Uganda from the war-torn country, the ministry said. And finally, in sports, Pep Guardiola has announced his intention to leave Manchester City and explore opportunities at international level when his contract expires at the end of next season. Guardiola is now in the penultimate year of his deal at the Etihad Stadium, where he has been in charge since July 2016. After replacing Manuel Pellegrini at the helm, the former FC Barcelona manager has won 3 English Premier League titles. The Spaniard also won 4 EFL Cups and the FA Cup during his tenure with the Citizens. The 50-year-old revealed he does not plan to extend his stay with the club and that he is targeting an opportunity with the national side. However, Guardiola talked down his chances of succeeding Tite as head coach of Brazil. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Dashan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.